Barry from North Yorkshire, UK says, I thought you might find it interesting to note how many title changes have actually occurred on the AEW Battle of the Belts events. Are you curious about this, Brian?
I've never thought about it, but yeah, I'm curious now.
Now that I brought it up.
Yeah.
They've had 7 of them. 7 of these Battle of the Belts specials that, as you'll recall, the network hierarchy gave to AEW of their own free will and their own volition to kind of make it up for when they switched them from TBS to TNT because of the hockey thing that they were going to do or whatever. You remember that a few years back, right?
I remember when they first got it. And now, of course, it's something that seemingly just airs right after whatever other show they have, either Rampage or Collision. It's not a standalone night, not a standalone event.
Well, and it started out as a standalone event, but after the first one where people realized that they would mostly be standing out there alone if they were the ones watching it, they got an hour, and regardless whether it was Saturday night at 10 o'clock, I think was the first one, and they put them on at different times. But everybody said, well, that's not a good time slot. Collision, now from 8 to 10 o'clock, is doing, depending on whether it's against a WWE pay-per-view, up to 800,000 people. But they got an hour of national cable television in the deal that they had just really signed. This was when they were only on the air a year or so, and they had to switch networks, right? So instead of making something out of that, and Tony remembered the Battle of the Belts specials in the 80s that Joe Koff had helped syndicate. But those had major big-time main event matches to them, Ric Flair and Barry Windham, whatever the case. He took the title and then made it like his own glorified dark or YouTube show or whatever, where just all the random green people in the secondary championships, of which there are many, get defended rather than making it a destination or in some way a vehicle to get something going. So, across these 7 Battle of the Belts events, only once has a title changed hands. Sammy Guevara beat Scorpio Sky for the TNT title at Battle of the Belts 2. Also, only once has a vacant title been fought for. Sammy Guevara versus Dustin Rhodes for the interim TNT championship at the first Battle of the Belts event. That's it. The last 5 Battle of the Belts events have seen all champions retain their championships. And not saying you need to switch the fucking title, regularly on television or whatever. But when you've got a program built around it being a Battle of the Belts, and there have been 7 of them, and there's generally 3 matches on each program, that's in 21 times, one fucking title has changed hands.
How many title matches have there been? How many different titles have been defended on that show?
I don't know how many different. Ring of Honor, New Japan, AEW even. I don't know how many different titles, but almost every match on those specials is for some kind of title, and men's and women's divisions and etc. Right? So, and nobody talks about them because nobody watches them because nothing happens on them. Which came first, the chicken or the bad booking?
Well, that's the other thing. Considering what those shows have been, and we've ignored a few of them, should they even do title changes on there if no one's watching?
Well, no, you shouldn't do title changes on a show that nobody's watching, but you shouldn't have a show on national cable that nobody is watching just because it's never interesting. So there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas. They could do some different things now if they'd have done some different things before. But they got, what's one more hour of TV on national cable for free? What the fuck?